Cambridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Although you'll notice it is not 3 p.m. Eastern Time. It is now 6:04 Eastern Time, and I am late today because we had a nice little power outage, and then that power outage, which lasted about an hour, of course, it happened at, when everything went off at about 2:30. And then, yeah, it came back on about 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then my computer did not like that it had been shut down in the middle of things. So, long story short, I'm here now. I made it. So, I hope some of you can join, and if not, hopefully you'll catch it on the replay. You'll see that I actually went live because I have some fun stuff to share with you today. I am working through the templates. As you know, if you've been following me, I've been going through the templates on page 22 of the Stampin' Up! Catalog, annual catalog, and we're up to number 10. So let's go over and see what I've got for you with template number 10. So come over here. You have a nice blank page, but here is template number 10. Pretty simple template, I have to say. You'll see that, yeah, I know, it's blurry. I take a picture of the catalog and then I blow it up so I can show it so you can see what we're doing. But for this card, we just need a card base. And if you want to cover that card base, you can. And then you need some banners to go behind a sentiment rectangle or square, whatever you prefer, and maybe a little bit of ribbon behind it, and that is it. And this gives you a lot of opportunities. Now we're going to do the first card super simple, just keeping right to the template or just about, and let me show you what I came up with. So look how gorgeous this card is. I mean, you can't go wrong when you're using the Thoughtful Journey Designer Series paper. This is one of the papers that are on sale right now for 15% off, and they are on sale through the end of August. So if you like it, grab a couple of packs. This is 6x6 paper. And let's go ahead and make this card, and you'll see just how quick and easy it is, because I've got something else I want to show you too. So let's set that aside and grab the supplies. So as I mentioned, we have our Designer Series paper. There are 12 designs, 24 different designs, 12 designs, 4 of each. Anyway, you get the idea. 6x6 paper. And we're going to use that top one. And I've cut that down to 4 by 5 1/4. Leaving this nice area that I just love the way that they look. I love that they're kind of watercolory, kind of washed out, just a fun look. So here we go. We've got some other pieces. We've got some very vanilla cardstock. And then this is Cajun Craze. I don't know about you, but I don't use a lot of Cajun Craze until we get to the fall time frame. Now, granted, we're still in summer, but I'm thinking about fall, at least from a card making perspective. And yeah, so this color is on my desktop all the time now. And so this is my card base. It is a typical 5.5 by 8.5 sheet that I've folded in half. And then we're just going to take our very vanilla and put it on the inside. I'm just going to use some regular adhesive for this, my Stampin' Seal. I like to have a nice piece of paper on the inside so that when you write, the recipient can read what you wrote. Okay, and there we go. And then I'm just going to take this piece and I'm going to put it on the front. Now, you know that the template did not have any additional borders, so I'm just stretching it a little bit so that I could have covered the entire thing, but I usually like to have a little bit sticking out on all sides. I just like the way that looks. To me, that is a clean look. Okay, so now we're going to take some pieces that I've already pre-cut, and just so that you know, I used this die set. Let me get all the pieces for you. So these are the stylish shapes dies. So you can see that these are very well used. They are still in the catalog, but they have carried over. And this is the long and thin one banner. And then this is one of the squares. It is the third largest square, actually third smallest square too. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and stamp on here. Now this stamp is from a stamp set that I think gets really overlooked. It's a carryover, I believe, as well. And this one is called Hope You Know. It has wishing you comfort, and just some really nice sayings that you don't always find in other kinds of card sets, stamp sets, especially the ones with a little bit of a longer message there. So that is the Hope You Know stamp set, and I've just taken the stamp that says wishing you comfort. I'm using my Mossy Meadow ink pad, and I'm going to try to stamp it in the center of this square. Now, if you like, you can always stamp first, then cut second, but just easier for me, for the sake of television, to do it this way. So now we've got all of our pieces. Now, if I went and put this on here like this, I felt that works. I mean, you certainly could do that, but I felt like it was a little bit long, so I just took my scissors and I cut it in half. And now you can put them however far apart, or, and I'm overlapping them just for ease of doing this, but you could certainly cut it yourself if you want. It doesn't really matter because it's all going to go behind here. And we just want a little bit sticking out. So that looks about right. So I'm just going to move it up a little. And I'm going to put one long line of adhesive here. And hopefully I didn't do too long a line. And I'm going to put one piece there, and then one piece about here. And I'm just going to double check that I like that where that placement is. I do not. We have to move this over a scooch. And the good news is it doesn't set too fast, so I can do that. So I can see some people have joined. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're finding me after my lovely power outage. Had some nice notes from people wishing me well. It was really, we have no idea why the power went out. It was raining. That was it. It's not like we've got any remnants of the storm yet or anything, the hurricane that's coming. Anyway, we don't know. Okay, so now that we've got that on there, that's just a little trick that you can do. Can you see that I did that crooked? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. All right, and I got to keep checking it, make sure I got it right. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that now. Now I'm going to take my label, and what I want to do is take my twine. This is a linen thread, and I like to, when I work with it, I like to use my thumbnail and pull just kind of, because it on this particular little spool gets really tightly worn. So I'm going to just pull that a little bit. And then what I want to do is take some adhesive to the back of this. And I'm going to put 2 lines. And because, you could tie a bow if you want, but rather than tie a bow, I'm just leaving it on the spool. And I am creating what will look like a bow for behind. See how I'm just overlapping it? And you can see how that is going to look. We've got the pieces hanging off there, and might not be perfect, but I'm going to go with it for today. So you can see that now I've got that on there and nothing's going to move. And I know that my pieces will be sticking out like I want them to be. Now I probably want to do it more on an angle. Otherwise it just looks like straight up and down. So while I do that, I'm just going to move it down a little bit. And you can see, there it is. So now I've got what looks like a bow behind my sentiment. So now I am going to take some dimensionals to put it on with. and I'm going to use the edges of my dimensionals. I'm going to go right over the top. I'm not going to worry about that adhesive in there. Peel this off, and voila, we've got a card, a sympathy card. Now imagine how fast you can make a bunch of these if you unfortunately might need them, or just to have on hand, you know, to have a stash of them. Always better if you get it straight. I know I always say it, I should know better, but I'm working with a camera in my face, so it's a little bit sometimes hard to get it straight. I think I got it now. Okay, and then the last thing I wanted to show you on this card is these adhesive-backed metallic gems. Look how shiny they are. They're really pretty and shiny. Now they are three different colors. We have silver, we have gold, and we have like this copper look. And I'm going to go with the copper because the copper kind of goes nicely, I think, with the Cajun Craze. Now I'm just going to scatter them around. I'm going to put a big one here. I'm going to put a little one, let's say right here. And I'm using my fingernail because my Take Your Pick tool is on the other side of the room. I'll get that for later. But there we go. We're just adding a little bit of shimmer to my card, and there we have it. And that is my take on template number 10. Now, just so happens that I have a class coming up this week, and I've been working on it, and I decided that this card that we're making in class can also look a lot like template number 10 by just bending the rules a little bit, okay? And it's a fun fold. So I think you're going to like this. So let's go ahead and make it. Now, this card was inspired heavily from Terry Gaines. She's another demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and she does a lot of sharing online, and she happens to do tutorials, and she does videos, and she does PDFs that you can get. And I just loved this card, and I've adapted it. I've also put the link to her site in my blog post, so you can check that out if you want the actual tutorial, and I think you would enjoy going to see what she does over there. But anyway, so this is from Terry Gaines, and it's almost the same as what she did, but not quite. So I'm using a piece of old olive cardstock, and this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've scored it. Actually, when I scored it, I did it this way. This is 4 1/4, so that's right in half, and then this is 5 1/4. And 6 3/4, and the dimensions on this will all be in the if you look at the description for the video and for the on YouTube and on Facebook, you'll be able to find this the dimensions. You don't have to write it down, but that's what we have. Hi, Lynn. I'm glad you're here. Thank you. So we're just going to fold this in half on that center score line, and then what we're going to do is we're actually going to fold the 5 1/4 line. We're going to fold that back, which seems normal, right? But then we're going to fold that back up again, and we're going to fold this panel back as well, which is kind of a weird thing, but you'll see why we've done that. So here we have the fold. So again, even though I said we scored it going this way, it's actually, we were scoring the front, and it's going to go like this. So the first thing we want to do is secure this little panel. Now, we do this a lot if we're doing a bookbind fun fold. If you've ever seen my videos on that, that's what we call this, and I'll show you why. So let me just close this up, and I'm using wet glue because I found that anything else wasn't really holding it. Now, I could have used something like tear and tape, but not everybody has tear and tape, so I figured I would use my wet glue, which everybody seems to have, even though I don't love wet glue. But then you'll see what happens. See, the card folds like this. Now, if we didn't have this fold here, it would look like a book binding, right? And that's why we call that usually a book binding fold. But this time we have an extra little element here, and that element is for this. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to have it, it's going to fold like that, see? And this becomes like a Z fold. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use regular adhesive for this. If I can find it again. Just had it. Here it is. And I'm going to put regular adhesive on here. Just 2 stripes. And now I've taken a piece of, this is 2 3/4 by 5.5. And I'm going to line it up right onto the edge of this fold. And you can see how now I've got a nice, oops, I've got a nice front for this card. Hi, Kim. Thanks for joining. I'm late today. I don't know if you heard, had a big power outage here. So yeah, it's fun to go live at 6 o'clock. Now I'm going to take some basic white cardstock, and I've embossed this with the Birch Wood embossing folder, which is a online exclusive. And this piece is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 by 2.5. I can't believe it. I should probably memorize this all by now because I had to type it in 3 different times when I was doing the description for this because of the power outage. And that now is the background for the card, what is now the front. So you're kind of getting an idea of what's happening here. And now I'm going to take another, this took up a lot of white cardstock, a lot of pieces. But like I said, all the dimensions and everything are in the description for the video. I'm glad you like this time, Lynn. I know I might have to switch. It's kind of fun doing it a little bit later. So I have, this piece is actually 3 inches by 5 1/4, and that becomes the inside of our card where you can write your message. Okay, so you're probably wondering what the heck is this card about, but here is the fun fold for it. And I think that is the most exciting part. And again, this is from Terry Gaines. And she has a lovely tutorial about it with a PDF that you can download, and the link is in my blog post that you'll be able to see after the video is over. So next I took 2 pieces of the same Country Woods wood grain cardstock, and I cut it into, it's 5 1/4 by 3/4 of an inch. I've got 2 of them, and I'm going to put one here so that we have a nice little background for the fun folds. And then I'll put another one on the inside, covering up. I could have just made the vanilla piece a little bit smaller, but it just would be very confusing for my students. I already have so many pieces of white of this cardstock on the table that it would be confusing. But look at how that folds up. Okay, and then you can see it opens up like that. Now we're not done. The most exciting part of this, you thought the fun fold was the most exciting part. It's not. We are going to use a new, this is from the online exclusives line, and we are going to use a new bundle called Frosted Forest. Now, when I first purchased this bundle, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be great for Christmas. I love the trees. And then I saw this sample that Terry made, and I said, oh my goodness, this is just too great. And we can use it now. We can use it for summer, then we can decorate it for fall, and then use it in the winter as well. So I'm going to start with a piece of 4.5 by 3 1/4 inch cardstock, and I'm going to stamp this big tree using pecan pie. Okay, so here's my tree. And I'm going to stamp it, ink it up upside down because it's kind of big, right? I even put it diagonally on this piece. Now, I'm just going to stamp this relatively in the center of my card. Okay, there we go. So now that we've got that, we are going to use, dun, 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 templates. This bundle comes with some of those templates that allow you to color it in. And I know you know I am a sucker for these. So I am going to place my piece of paper down. Now, if you're coming to class, because I'm going to send this video to make sure that all my students watch this, you're going to note that there's going to be a square on the table that tells you where to put your paper, and we'll have some repositionable adhesive. But I just eyeball it, so I'm just putting that down, putting my paper down. And now I'm just going to, see, it's upside down. That's why. See, it has a little number 1 in the corner here. Can you see that? There it is. And it has that little notch there. So once I get it lined up, and again, I'm eyeballing this, I am going to, a little static cling today. Here we go. I'm going to mark where my notch is up here. You can't see it, but there's a little V. Oh, there it is. You can see it. And holding it in place, I'm going to grab my pecan pie again. And I'm going to grab, can you believe I just did that? Okay. All right. And I'm going to grab a brush, blending brush, and I'm going to ink it up. And I'm just going to come over it and look at this. Color, same tone on tone. I know I'm shaking the whole table. Sorry, ladies. And there we go. We've got our tree colored in. Voila. All right. And if that's not enough, we're going to go ahead and get some Old Olive ink and blending brush. And I probably moved it, but we're going to take number 2. Can you see number 2? And we're going to lay this down. It's very handy to have the image stamped because we know what we're aiming for here. So we're covering up the areas that need to be covered. I'm going to line it up in that notch again just because I can. And hopefully I'm not going to mix these up, but this is my Old Olive brush. Now, I probably should have gone off a little bit, started over here. You can see that I'm just brushing it on kind of gently. And one of the things I've learned is that rather than holding it by the handle and pressing down with your finger, just hold it at the head. And it makes it so much easier to rub. I saw somebody do this, for another company's stencils, and it really works. But look at that. Now we've got our tree colored, and then we're going to add some special leaves. And for this, it is helpful when you line it up, but you basically want to have anything that's white covered. There are a couple of spots that don't necessarily get covered. It would work better if I lined it up better, but you're going to get the idea. And I'm going to come in with the same color, the same brush, same color. And this time I'm actually going to press kind of hard. You've noticed before I wasn't pressing that hard, and I am going to go back to the ink pad a few times and I didn't tap off. You know how I usually tap off? I didn't because I knew I wanted this to be nice and dark. Okay, and ready? There it is. There's our tree. So it looks awesome. And now, even better, not just this. Now this I didn't do through the magic of television. After doing other things 3 times, I just kind of ran out of time. But there are dies that come with this. Here are a bunch of the different dies. The die that goes with this tree is, it's here somewhere. Oh, geez. Okay, I don't know. Oh, here it is. It's this die, and I'm just going to line it up, and you can see it just does the outline. So you didn't need to color it in if you didn't want to. You could just stamp it and then cut it out. You could just stamp it and not cut it out, but I'm just going to hop over and cut out this on my die cutting machine. I'm going off camera only because it shakes the table so much, and it just takes a second. So here we go. Voila. Here's our die cut. And I'm just going to pull that out. And I just have a piece of washi tape there. I have a ton, and when I say a ton, I mean it. I have probably 100 rolls of washi tape from days gone by, and so I just use up that washi tape. And there's my tree. So where's our card base? Let's go ahead and finish assembling. So here we have our tree, and I'm going to add it to this card base using some dimensionals. And for those of you taking the class, this last bit is going to be a little bit different because I wanted to make it look like I wanted to show that I'm actually using the template, right? That's kind of the whole point of this class, right? This quick class. So what I'm going to do here is I have already cut out a little banner, and I'm going to stamp a sentiment on here, and the sentiment is in the Frosted Forest stamp set. Birthday wishes for a day as great as you are. Isn't that nice? I think that's a lovely sentiment. I'm going to use the Mossy Meadow again. Tap, tap, tap. And when you're lining this up, you want to make sure that the words that are on the slight italic, you want to make sure that they're straight. I know I find that sometimes it gets a little bit confusing when you've got mixed fonts to get your sentiment straight. And because I stamped after I die cut out the label, I want to make sure that I get it straight. Let's see how I did. Not too bad. All right. Believe me, the recipient will forgive you if you don't. And for this card, I'm going to go ahead and put it up here with some of that twine. This time I'll actually tie a bow so you can see the alternative. I just do it while it's still on the roll. Oops. Just very close to the camera, aren't I? Sorry. And just tie a little bow. Ta-da. And this label is a little bit smaller than what I used before. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. I could use a glue dot. I'm just going to use a little bit of adhesive right now. I'm just going to put that down on an angle, and then I'm going to layer this on with dimensionals. And those of you taking the class, I will show you how you're going. Well, I'm going to show you how I suggest that you do it. There's a lot going on this card, so we wanted to keep it a little bit simple. I took off the, for the class card, I did not use the twine, plus I didn't have enough for 40 cards, which is what a class takes. But you can see that this is now kind of similar, sort of, stretching our template. Here's the template again, right? So I just put it off to the side, and there we go. So, fun fold. All the information for this is on my blog, brendamillersu.com. And here's the card for class for those of you taking the class, or if you decide that you want to do it this way, that's fine. So anyway, fun fold, fun stuff, template, all good. So thank you so much for joining me today. I know I'm late and I got to see different faces. Hey, Linda, I'm glad that you joined. And you get to make this card when you come on Friday, one of my students. So anyway, so thank you so much for joining again, and we will see you the next time. Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.